Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear Neuro Guard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out Neuro Guard Plus.
Neuro Guard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe from concussions.
Neuro Guard. They control my breathing while I'm writing. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
You know, I'm still doing stunts. You know, and the concussions I've got, and I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So Neuro Guard Plus, you know, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, Neuro Guard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, Neuro Guard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
All right, everybody, now's the time. Brown right, motion, tailback slant. Let's put the women and children to bed and go looking for fun, all right? On one, ready? Go, 13! Coming off the train! Go, 13! Hey!
Finally, time to talk high school football for the 2025 season. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett, Grant Goodwin here. The Neuro Guard Plus 4A, 3A, 2A show called Sideline to Sideline here in the great state of Texas. And before we begin, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. A little tired. AC went out at the house yesterday, so had to take advantage of free rooms at the casino, so I had to get up extra early and drive in from the casino.
Oh, I thought y'all drove down and stayed at that Roach Hotel you stayed in that time where the roaches were prepping your bed for you. Where was that, down in Needville or?
Navasota.
Navasota. Yeah. I know somewhere. I can remember.
I think I'd rather sleep in the heat than there. Yeah, so it's a long night. The Goodwin household, that's for sure.
Oh, this is going to be a long day. We've just now started
back up there afterwards.
Yeah, you're going back up. Are you staying the whole weekend there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is already Saturday, so.
Oh, I didn't know if you might as well take advantage, right? So if this is the first time you've ever come across Sideline to Sideline, I am Terry Bennett. That is Grant Goodwin, and we talk 4A, 3A, and 2A football here in the state of Texas. And what this is our Big Arse Preview Show, where we're going to cover every district in those three classes. We pick our district, we pick our playoff teams, we pick our region finalists, our semifinalists, and our state championships. We just have a lot of fun doing it. And these shows they're fun, but man, they're long. But I have learned that these are the shows that make us better in the regular season because.
Do they though?
Okay, as good as we can be. Right. That's still better. And speaking of, we got Coach X, and Coach X will actually come up here in a second. And as you can tell, it's a little bit of a different set this year.
We're in swanky now. You redid it. People can't see.
Yeah,
but the big monitors.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's a game changer with me. I'm gonna have to use these glasses today, but in the regular season when we have all our run sheet and our notes up on the big monitor.
Yep, and we'll be
more of those.
We'll be putting some of those up at times like this. For these shows, we're going to do like we've been doing in the region show and the district show, where we just put up the regions with the district. So you can kind of walk along with us as we do that. But if you do not know Coach X, he is a real coach in the state of Texas. Finally, well, I mean, he keeps saying it. So I think
he's got a ring.
Yeah,
he's got 2 rings.
Whatever, dude. I got 4 rings I got from the gumball machine. I did play state champion on them. I think what he has done actually though is he is one of those that he has started a charter school, and he schedules invisible teams. What was that school a few years ago that was trying to play everybody across the nation? That's what he is now. But anyway, each and every week
on national
TV and getting absolutely destroyed. You knew it was going to be crazy when like the right guard had a orange helmet and the left guard had like a lavender helmet and the quarterback didn't have a helmet. But no, anyway, so Coach X, he's a real coach here in the state of Texas. He likes to ride in and have a little fun. And so we're going to go ahead and start the show off with his diatribe. I thought it was going to be for the season, but apparently, okay, again, basically the same studio. We're in the same exact spot. We just changed the banner around, and instead of having a table here, we just put some stuff up on the wall. We've started our wall of hats. We want to get back into the goal of getting hats every time we go to a game, or if you'd like to send us one, let us know. We have a Gilmer hat coming, by the way. I appreciate that. We'll talk about that in the 3A show. But anyway, and so I decided to get back-to-back banners. We do the same thing without drank the coverage. That way we're both, it's called branding. Well, SI Designs, who does wonderful jobs, when I asked him to send me another banner, I accidentally sent him the wrong file. So there's this, remember that old thing in highlights, these 2 pictures are the exact same, but there's one mistake. And of course, when I showed the picture to Coach X of the new studio, he immediately caught the mistake. So this is what Coach X has to say. Let me see how this works. I got to see how to do this. All right, here we go. Guys, the new studio looks so great. Hey, and the new banner is so cool. In case you couldn't tell, I'm being sarcastic. There is one very important name left off the banner. That name is of a certain man with a certain title with the letter for a name. Starts with a coach, ends with an X. And we all know that X is the coolest of all letters. Yes, it is. And you know it, Terrence. I'm not arguing with you. Without the X, you would have no way to look inside of people.
X-ray.
Yes. Okay. Without the X, you'd never be able to find buried treasure. Without the X, you'd only have factors. That's my favorite one. Des Bryant, what would his touchdown celebration have been back in the day with that? See, X, you helped Des Bryant create his touchdown celebration.
And you probably helped him with his financial situation.
And by the way, he wrote this for the other show, but we didn't have video, so that's why it says this line. So here we are on the toughest regions, toughest district show. Actually, it's the Big Arse Preview Show. And guess what? You have no X, so you have no Coach X. To quote the immortal Steve Martin as Lucky Day in the classic Mexican Western, no dough, no show. But of course, I would have to paraphrase it and replace it with the word dough with X. So you made your bed, Terror Bear, and you're going to have to lay in it and wash your sheets. Grant, you're still cool.
Oh, thanks,
now,
man.
I do want to put out the fact that when we were picking where the banner was going, Grant specifically said he wanted that banner. He did not want to be associated with Coach X in any way.
Thing of masking tape.
That's what I was actually going to do.
Yeah.
I might edit that out. That's what I was going to do for the first week. I'm going to have Coach X just X wrote there right there.
There you go.
Yeah, he felt, the guy felt bad. I'm like, no, we don't care, dude. I think it's funny. He ended up not charging me for it, so I don't care. Anyway. All right, so that is Coach X. Now that he's done, before we begin this, and you and I have been kind of talking about this in the toughest region, in the toughest district, and the Coaches Changing show, I think one of the things, whether it be 4A, 2A, or 3A, and I'm not saying there's not favorites. Carthage, of course, is a heavy favorite in 4A Division 2. I think Gunner is still a heavy favorite in their division. Munster coming back with everybody. Shiner coming back with everybody. A lot of people think we're going to see them in a rematch of the state championship in 2A. But my overall impression is this is one of the most spread out anybody could win from 4A Division 1 all the way to 2A Division 2, maybe since we've been doing these shows.
Yeah. And for the most part, each region has 1 or 2 heavy hitters.
Yes, but no, I don't even think Carthage is at that. They are so unbeatable that if they lose, people will be shocked this year.
I don't know. I kind of go back to week 1 when we were out in Carthage last year and seeing them against Kilgore. And we kind of had that thought, man, here we go. unbeatable Carthage. Just go down and watch them. And then, they had some injuries, and Kilgore was just that good defensively, especially that night that it happened. So I'm gonna reserve judgment on Carthage until we get down week 1 in Kilgore and see that rematch. And then
Let's go ahead
after our week 1 football trip, week 2 show, I'll have a little bit more of an opinion on Carthage. Right now, I'd be very shocked to see Carthage lose.
I don't know, man. I
but,
go back.
We'll just have to see.
And again, I think I'd said this either on the toughest region or maybe it was the toughest district show, that my opinion on that isn't because Carthage has taken a step back by any stretch. I just think teams in 4A Division 2 have taken a step forward. I think that they're getting closer to them. But we'll talk about 4A Division 2 when we get there. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to start doing it. We're going to be breaking down every district, every playoff team, our region picks, our semifinal picks, and our state championship picks right here on Neuro Guard Plus. State championship, or Big Arse, right here on Neuro Guard Plus, Big Arse Preview Show. Hey, Coach, are you ready to elevate your locker room experience? Well, at H&H Locker Solutions, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality lockers at the lowest cost in the Southeast. As a coach-owned business based in Alabama, we understand the needs of the coaches and the players alike. Our mission is to improve your locker room and streamline your process, and we're coming to Texas. Did you know we offer a free locker program? That's right. We ship all across the USA, ensuring you get the best solutions tailored just for you and your program. Want to learn more? Drop a comment or give Coach Harris, a.k.a. Ty, a call at 256-458-4427, and let's take your locker room to the next level. It's right, Sheriff and Grant, good one back here. It's Cause Little Class 3A Division 1. As we said in the intro, we're going to be picking every district, every playoff team, our region favorites, our semifinal favorites, and our state favorites. I would say that Region 1 is brought to you by Big Country Blitz. If you're a Big Country football fan, you live in the area, if you're just a fan of it anyway, go check out Big Country Blitz. You can find them online at bigcountryblitz.com. Not only high school, but also the college teams in the Big Country area. We, in fact, are going to be having a show that'll be on here and on the Big Country site this year. We're so happy to team up with Cody for the second year. Man, he hooked us up in the ads in the Big Country Blitz magazine. And by the way, if you're in Big Country, you can find a free magazine pretty much at every place that has magazines that are free, hotels, restaurants, and all that.
I always pick one up when I'm first out in the Abilene area early in the season, and I carry that thing with me all year.
Yeah, I have
great during the playoffs.
Where did mine
research? I mean, it's just a great magazine.
Also, just I don't know where mine is right now. Honestly, I usually keep both my Dave Campbell's and my any magazine like that in the thinking area.
Mine on my nightstand. I don't know why you don't just sleep with it.
I put my Bible on the nightstand.
Bible.
Yeah, Dave Campbell.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, anyway. So here we go. If first time you've ever joined us, we're going to start in District 1. We're going to work our way to
By the way, I know what the Bible is.
Yeah, Dave Campbell's.
No, the Bible. The one that Jesus.
Oh, Playboy.
Yeah. No. God, never mind.
Hey, you win a prize if you guess which show the team started drinking. All right, let's get into it. District 1.
Having Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
It's a red can.
Dr. Pepper. Say Dr. Pepper.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Pepper.
Well, we talked about them during the football season in good ways. But all right, let's get to it. District 1, Bushland's the bell cow, but you got shallow water. This is one of those districts we talked about on the toughest district show. If it was deeper, I think it would be a higher up in the toughest district.
For one thing, it's a 14 district.
Exactly.
So it's hard to make a case unless all 4 teams are just loaded, right? You're top heavy. You got top 2 teams, and then after that, it's a big drop off. I think shallow water is going to win this district. They got Cooper Martin back at quarterback, who threw for over 1,700 yards last year. And then a really good running back in Rylan Brown, who, he ran for almost 1,000 yards last year. Though, the offensive line is going to have to be rebuilt. Defense pretty much got decimated by graduation.
Yeah.
I think Cooper Martin and Rylan Brown are talented enough to put up a lot of points. I feel like Shallow Water's going to have to outscore a lot of people.
Which is weird with them because we're so used to them being good offensively, but also really, really good defensively as well.
Yeah. But, the second place team here, Bushland, I think Bushland will get the second spot. They were kind of decimated by graduation on both sides of the ball as well. So, your Shallow Water's going to win it. I think Bushland can push them for the district title, but I think Shallow Water will beat Bushland, and then it'll be in like Dalhart and then River Road.
I will say this, not this year, but let's remember that River Road hired Aaron Wampler, who has had a ton of success. He was at Boys Ranch. He was at Clarendon. He wins wherever he goes. I don't think it'll be, but we know they'll make the playoffs. And remember, they won a playoff game last year. I'm not
0-3 in district and won a playoff.
Yeah, but a lot of that was the district they were in. Again, if they had a 15, just a 15 that was average, they would have easily made our top 5 toughest districts. I like Bushland, but we're splitting hairs just like last year. I think Shallow Water won that game 21-20. I like Bushland's depth compared to Shallow Water. I think for Bushland, they've entered an era where you can expect 10 wins as the norm for them. I think it's going to be a great game, but I have it Bushland, Shallow Water, River Road, then Dalhart. All of them will win a play.
I have it Shallow Water because I think Shallow Water probably has a little bit more depth than Bushland.
See, I just think I meant just in general, like just in general, as a football program, Bushland's going to have more players usually.
Shallow Water has teetered on.
But they both have
good to greatness.
Oh, both of them have. That's a really good point.
Yeah,
you're literally looking at the same team.
Right.
They do different things.
Yeah,
but they both they're waiting for that 1,000% program defining win that kicks them into the state championship game.
It's a little bit tougher because Bushland loses a quarterback. They got to replace him. He made a lot of that offense go, so it's going to be tough. But that should be a fun district race to watch.
Oh yeah,
District 2. I got Lamesa winning this district. I think Silas McCurry at receiver returns 1,300-yard receiving year last year. The defense should be good, but the offensive line for Lamesa should be pretty solid. So I've got them 1. I've got Denver City 2, Brownfield 3, and then Kermit 4th.
Well, the weird thing about this district, nobody had a winning record.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an ugly district. This is why over in District 1, a team like River Road could also not have a winning record, but go 2 games into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. This is an ugly district. I like Lamesa as well, but I mean, this is literally one. And I'm not saying it's going to be, it can be a fun district inside the district because all these teams are even. And it's just, when you look at them on the scope of, in the region, they're non-existent. I agree with you. I'm gonna go with Lamesa number 1. Everybody else,
I got it. After that, I got Denver City, Brownfield, and then Kermit.
That's fine. Again, this is all 4 make it, and to be fair, all of them play pretty tough schedules. That's the reason why they all go into district, usually with non-winning seasons. Anyway, all right, let's move over to District 3 now. This is a better district with Breckenridge, Clyde, Comanche, Texas Leadership, Sweetwater, and Jim Ned. Sweetwater's a team last year that you and I both felt was going to take the region by storm. They were dropping down from 4A, but not only that, they had a young quarterback. They had a young team all around them. And then they kind of spit and sputtered. They ended up making the playoffs, but they got beat in the first round by Vernon. I still think that this team, there's still a chance for this team to be special this year with a new coach, even though he's the old offensive coordinator, but still a little bit of a different change. You still got Caden Ortiz at quarterback. I still like
is the X factor for Sweetwater, but I don't think they're going to win the district.
Yeah, Jim Ned win the district.
Yeah,
it is. Me too.
Aiden Ellis coming back at receiver or at running back, and then Breck Lawson at receiver. I think this Jim Ned defense could be nasty this year, and I think a Sweetwater-like team with Caden Ortiz at quarterback, who's very seasoned now, right? He was a youngster at one time. Did he grow up last year? First 2 years we were like, he's young, right? And but I tell you, it's hard to grow up when you're playing a Jim Ned defense. I think it's Jim Ned defense is going to be really good.
Funny thing is, the one thing when you look at Jim Ned, at least going into the season, is they need a quarterback.
Yes.
If you could do trades right now and Jim Ned send 2 first-rounders for the Sweetwater quarterback, they might not be beatable. They might be
How much
unbeatable.
money do they have out there in Buffalo?
Well, we know a dentist, chiropractor, doctor that might throw in some nil.
Dennis, chiropractor, what?
The one that you have the idea with the.
Oh yeah.
See,
But he's a chiropractor too.
I don't know. It's Jim Ned. You got to do a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah.
I used to watch this show about this town in Canada. It's real small. It's called Corner Gas. It's real funny. But the guy that sold insurance, it was insurance, liquor store, and gun shop all in one.
Oh, awesome.
That's why whenever we talk to the Jim Ned guy, that's what I always think in my mind. He's like everything out there. But yeah,
I know what you're talking about. That guy is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, he loves it. He messages there, so he's a blast.
Said I could come out for an eye exam.
Well, yeah, he's worried. He was worried about your 42 contacts on one eye story that you told. But no, I have a Jim Ned.
It's not that bad now, but it's still pretty bad.
I have Jim Ned.
Come out once a month now, just as they fall out.
Doesn't count.
The last time it fell in a urinal, I just put it back in. I don't know. Is that bad for your eye?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no, it cleanses it. The blue cleanses it.
Okay.
That's what I've been told. I'm curious about Clyde. 2 years ago, they were 11-2. Last year, they were young. This year, they're still a little young, but they've got Devin Wright back at quarterback and a really good running back in Miles Whistler. I think with how inconsistent Sweetwater is, I think Comanche or Clyde could take the second spot. But I'm going to still right now go Sweetwater number 2, Comanche 3, and Clyde 4.
Yeah, it's not like Sweetwater spit the bit in district. I mean, the only loss they had, I think, was to Jim Ned last year in district, right?
Yeah, so let me check that. Yeah, they lost to Jim Ned.
I think they've got enough to come back and at least solidify themselves in that second spot, and then Clyde third, and then Comanche fourth.
Yeah, and I think Clyde or Comanche, that they're interchangeable. Really, I think they could, again, I think they will battle with Sweetwater. I think Jim Ned, as long as Jim Ned finds consistency at quarterback in that system, he doesn't have to be special. He doesn't have to be like what was the quarterback that beat Brock? He doesn't have to be that good.
Yeah.
He just needs to not turn the ball over, make the plays that are in the system. Don't try to do too much. All right, let's go over to District 4, and this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it is. I got Paradise is dominant. They were dominant in this district last year, right? Until they got a lot on defense to rebuild. I mean, that was a pretty special defense last year, right? And they only have 4 or 5 returning starters.
I mean, I know they ended up losing to Malakoff 27-19.
Right.
But we saw what Malakoff did to some other teams, and they held their own defensively against Malakoff.
Absolutely, because they're physical, right?
Yep.
Malakoff knew they were in a fight. Paradise is just a physical football team. And up front this year on the offensive side of the ball, Paradise is going to be able to move some guys, and they're going to be able to impose their will offensively just up front in the trenches. Now, their defense, that has to be rebuilt a little bit, I think is probably going to take a little bit longer to catch up. But if they get to the playoffs anywhere close to where they were defensively last year, Paradise, the Panthers are going to be tough to beat.
I think they're going to end up being better this year. One of the things about their offense, I always like to call it the wonky bone. It's like a wishbone, but they'll throw out of it at times, is they can play keep away. And they can hold the ball. And let's remember, the new head coach is the former defensive coordinator. Right. I think Tommy Koch has earned the right that it's a system. I mean, yeah, they're going to miss players. Don't get me wrong, man, they're linebacker crew. We talked about it. Any coach that I talked to that had seen them on film, the first thing they would talk about, man, that linebacker crew is amazing. But I think the system allows that, and you still got Tegan Lambert coming back at linebacker.
Yeah,
I am very high on Paradise. I think they are in a very tough district, but I don't see anybody staying with them in this district.
I don't either. I mean, I think the next the second place team is going to be Peaster. The drop off, I really think from Paradise to Peaster is going to be a pretty large gap.
Yeah, I think it's a large gap, and then I think Peaster, and then if Ponder can find some consistency, I think they're closer to Peaster than Peaster is to Paradise.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes Paradise, Peaster, Vernon,
no problem with that.
And Ponder.
Yeah, I have no problem. Look, this is a tough district 2 through 4 because you
maybe Bowie. I don't know. Bowie, man, they've got a lot coming back. 1-2 games in the district last year, but No, I'll go with my original pick.
And then you still, I know we say it all the time, you still got an Iowa Park team. If they would ever remember that they probably got more depth than anybody else in the district.
And size.
And
They
size.
have a lot of size out there.
Yeah, just looking at some of their stats, Andrew McLean, 6'3", 265 O-line, D-line. I mean, in this class, that's a big dude.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they just haven't been able to find the consistency. But they are the type of team that could pull off the upset that might not get them into the playoffs, but like last year, they beat Ponder 26-20. That was the main reason that Ponder stayed out of the playoffs.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm going to go with Paradise, Peaster, Ponder, Vernon. Vernon and Ponder are interchangeable, and I like your Bowie. That's not a bad one. They struggled inside district, but I think they returned like 14 starters off of last year's team, and that. Hey, sometimes that maturation from over the summer, all those juniors that were getting pushed around, all of a sudden the seniors, they're not getting pushed around as much.
Yep.
All right, let's flip over into Region 2. By the way, again, the first time, we'll do the Region stuff in the next break, so we'll come back to Region 1 for the Region 1 favorites. All right, in Region 2, District 5, this is another fun district with Grandview, Groesbeck, Maypearl, Mahia West, and Whitney. I know you're going to be big, not that you shouldn't be, but you're big on Grandview. I'm big on Whitney. I think those are the two, and then everybody else.
Yeah, I think Grandview's in for a special season this year. You know, their quarterback's back and Mason Landers, but I think the defensive squad here, man, and this very experienced offensive line, you know, they say you win and lose games in the trenches. Well, Grandview is not going to lose a game in the trenches. They are going to be physical on both sides of the ball. And with Landers out there at quarterback behind that offensive line, it's going to be tough to beat the Zebras. So I've got it Grandview 1, Whitney 2. And let me say, I agree with you 100% on Whitney, by the way. You know, Kobe Haynes at receiver, Jonte Johnson,
if Jonte Johnson can come back fully healthy from that knee injury last year, he's not big, but my God, he is one of those. He reminds me of going back to Wascom, Junebug. Remember Junebug Johnson?
Yeah, I do.
Same last name.
Loved contact,
fast, quick.
You thought that loves contact, who's big and fast.
Yep.
Then you're in for a long night. So, yeah, I like Grandview. Whitney, I think, can push Grandview a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, the physicality of what Grandview's going to put on the field this year is just going to be too much for anybody in this district. And then I like West and then Maypearl.
Yeah. Look out for Mahia. Last year, you know, Aaron Noel broke through and they go 6-5. They don't return a lot, but he's kind of started changing that culture. They keep trying to get rid of him, but he's trying to change that culture. And this will be interesting to see how he does, where he's got a lot of young talent, but they're not experienced, but they're I think talented enough that they could steal that last spot in the playoffs.
And then District 6, one of the most spread out districts ever geographically, right? Palmer, Whitesboro. Palmer going to Whitesboro, that's a long drive.
There are always one or two districts in each class that just they don't fit.
Right.
And this area seems to always have one now just because of where Region 2 has grown.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a weird district. You've got Life Oak Cliff and Madison, downtown Dallas, having to drive out to Pottsboro, Whitesboro, and Pilot Point for district games.
Somebody's got to eat it, though. All right, so I like Palmer, number 1. Eric Cisneros, big-time quarterback. I think Cisneros has started at quarterback for Palmer since his freshman year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, that dude is a force. They got a good offensive line coming back. The defense is very solid again this year. They were a pretty good defensive unit last year. They didn't shut people down, but they kept everything in front of them. So I like Palmer 1. I like Whitesboro number 2. I think Colt Fagan, that quarterback, is going to be something pretty special by the end of the season. And Whitesboro returns pretty much the house on both sides of the ball. Everybody on offense and only lost a few on defense. So I think Whitesboro is going to get back to where they were a few years ago. So I think it's Palmer, Whitesboro, Pottsboro, then Pilot Point. But Pilot Point might make it with, Chad's been up there. Now this is his, second year. Chad being up there, they could slip into the second or third spot.
Hey, they upset Mahey in the first round of the playoffs last year.
Two upsets. They went 3 deep, didn't they?
No, they got beat the next week by Liberty Ilo. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty bad.
But oh, okay. For some reason, I was thinking that they had 1, 2.
But the thing is this is a district. I mean, look, I would love for Madison to be back. They're not. So this is a district that's basically 4 teams. It might as well be a 4-team district. Now, I know that at times Life Oak Cliff has been solid. Last year they went 6-4, but I mean, they're still, they basically lost to everybody they were supposed to, and they beat Madison and Academy. That was their 2 wins in district. So for Palmer, Pilot Point, Pottsboro, and Whitesboro, it's basically just stay healthy, and get to the playoffs. But yeah, I like your list. I think that's perfectly fine. All right, let's go to District 7. We've got another weird district because you got Commerce at the top of the Metroplex going all the way down to Malakoff in East Texas, and then Mineola, Mount Vernon, Rains.
Spread out as...
Oh, no. That 6 is crazy. Yeah. It's really crazy. But this is an interesting district. Malakoff.
Little shake-up in this district, I think.
How's it go?
Well, no, I'm saying I've got a little bit like of a surprise pick in this one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like who?
I got Winsboro winning.
I do too, actually. I was about to say, I think for the first time in a long time, Malakoff has a lot of questions. I think they will be answered, but I think it's going to take a half a year to a year to get this in. We're talking about
they got to replace Mike Johnson. Right.
And that in of itself is tough. But then you also, I mean, they have 1 returning offensive starter, and that's Jarian Hall, who gets as much time on defense as he does on offense.
Right.
They've got 3 returning starters on defense. This is Jamie Driscoll's toughest job as a coach since maybe 2021. In 2021, it wasn't about youth as much as it was injuries and inconsistencies, and they still had a great season. And I think Malakoff is still going to have a great season as well. Yeah. But yeah, I totally agree. I think Winsboro, I think people need to realize Winsboro's not going away.
Well, Winsboro's got the fastest player in Class 3A in Camden Capehart, right? Yeah, I believe he won 100 in 3A. Noli Carroll at quarterback, who had a great year last year. They got a good amount of returning starters on the defense and offensive line, has a few holes to fill, but I think at the end of the day, Coach Benny has a Winsboro team that could compete for a region title.
I mean, this was a team last year that was supposed to be rebuilding offensively, and then they ended up averaging almost 50 points a game.
Yeah, and they gave Malakoff everything they wanted.
Yeah, they lost 35-28 game. And then remember that Liberty Ilo game was that crazy game where Liberty Ilo jumped out way ahead, and Winsboro almost caught them. Yeah, brought them back. Ended up losing 56-49. Yeah, I think this has a chance to be as good as the 12-1 team of a couple years ago for Winsboro. I legitimately think Winsboro's that good. Now, after that, I still think Malakoff is firmly entrenched at number 2. Yeah. It wouldn't shock me if they win the district at all. I'm curious to see what a team like Commerce is going to do.
I think Commerce will take that 3rd spot, and then Mineola the 4th spot.
Perfectly agree with you on that. I think Rains will be Rains, and they'll be a fly in the ointment for a team or two, but they can never get consistently good. They do have a great player in Jabari Shields, but again, they just can't ever get it defensively together. But I'm curious. I'm really curious about Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon, another coaching change. We whenever Coach Clayton George went over there, it felt like a weird hire just because of his lineage. Nothing against him as a coach, but he left. Last year they fell all the way to 2-8. So I'm really curious to see what they do this year. Where do they fit in this? I don't think they make the playoffs, but I think I guess I don't know. It's not like Mineola's that far ahead of them, though. Mineola's what's his name is back at head coach for Mineola, who had left a few years ago. All right, let's go.
Is it Blackwell?
Yeah, I think so. All right, let's go to District 8, and this is going to be another interestingly fun one. You've got, of course, the 2 top teams in Jefferson and Liberty Ilo, but you've also got Atlanta and Gladewater. Where do they fit?
Well, the first 3 spots here for the seeding is going to be so fun to keep track of this year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, I think Jefferson wins the district, but my gosh, Atlanta and Liberty Ilo are so freaking good this year. I really think they're going to be that good.
Now, one thing we didn't know before we were doing last week, or the toughest region, toughest district, is Liberty Islo has had a couple of players leave that are huge, including Dequan Prevo, who went to Bentonville up in Arkansas. Look, I trust Brad Willard. I think they're going to still be good, but he was the type of guy that takes a good team and makes them great.
Yeah.
Now, we'll have to see. I do think that I actually, going into, before I realized that, I had them over Jefferson. I thought Jefferson lost too much. I mean, Prevo's a guy who last year had 72 receptions, 1,600 yards, and 21 TDs. You're going to have
Take
to
that out, then Jefferson's the favorite.
Yeah, I think Jefferson is the favorite, and we saw them, again, give everything. I feel like we say this all the time about last year because this is how good they were. They gave Malakoff everything they could handle in that game, and there was a couple times you can make the case that they really had control of that game. And for them, it's just figuring out, how to build off that. They lose their quarterback, but he was good, but it wasn't like he made them go. That offensive line and that running game made them go.
Now, as Prevo was to Liberty Islo, let's mention what Jaden Riley is to Atlanta.
Yes,
because he's the same dude.
Good point.
Maybe not the same size because, Riley is a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Right? But you want the ball in that cat's hands. And Riley is the type of player that can propel Atlanta, if they stay healthy and play good defense, could propel them to even a district title.
No, I totally agree. Again, for them, it's just always depth. Can they stay healthy at the key positions? I think they make the playoffs. But let's talk.
I've got them coming in the third spot. I've got it Jefferson 1, Liberty Islo 2, Atlanta 3, and then Gladewater 4. But I would not be shocked to see Atlanta maybe pull off an upset and at least get maybe that second spot.
I have Tatum making the playoffs.
Do you?
They
lost a lot, though.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I like Grant Adcock at quarterback. I think with this, I also think, I'm not saying there's pressure on Whitney Keeling at Tatum, but they haven't taken that next step like they thought they would with him. They've been perfectly competitive. They've won at least 6 games every year. I think they average 6 games to be a thing. I think part of it is it's time for that system to start working there.
Yeah.
If it is. And also I still don't really trust Gladewater at all. I think they're going to be perfectly solid. They're on a coaching change, of course. Jermaine Lewis, who had been, I think, the assistant AD, steps in as a head coach. They returned 10 starters. The issue with them is the last few years when we watch them they just don't have athletes. Like the athletes, and this is what this is the kind of the cycle Gladewater has ran over in the last 20 years. They'll be really good for a couple of classes, and they'll almost get there, and then they have to kind of go through the desert for a few years. It just feels like they're kind of in that desert mode right now. But I hope they do bounce back. I love it when Gladewater is good. All right, let's flip over to Region 3. We're going to start at District 9, Crockett, Diboll, Fairfield, Huntington, Palestine, Westwood, and Tig. You and I were talking about this off the air.
Westwood, man.
Yes, I think West. Well,
they get look. They can't go getting Columbus in the second round. I understand that.
Yeah. No, I know.
And they had some distractions last year, but you throw no distractions in there and a good draw. You give the ball to Kavian Bryant every week. I like my chances, odds wise. And then you throw in Kason Dow at receiver, who was one of the leading receivers last year. He's back. This is a very athletic team, a very fast team, and speed kills, even to this day. I know with everybody spreading it out, things are getting a little tighter now, though. They're bringing it in, right, a little bit. You still got smallish linebackers who can kind of run some stuff down. But speed still does kill, and Kavian Bryant has the size, the speed, everything. Westwood wins, and they win this district, and they are one of the region favorites to me. One of several region favorites. And then I've got like Fairfield coming back with, Cole Collins come back at quarterback. I like them at number 2, and then Teague 3, and then Diboll 4.
I have Fairfield 1, Westwood 2.
So you have Fairfield beating Westwood.
Yes, I look. Bryant is a an amazing stud. That offense is amazing. Casey Dollar, wide receiver, David Russell, who they use all over the field. I just
Averaged over 50 points a game.
I think Fairfield's a more complete team this year.
They are pretty complete.
It's going to be a great battle. That might be
Westwood lost anybody that they really have to replace. I guess on the defensive side of it, they got a few to replace. So I could see that. But I'm really big on Westwood this year.
And I get that. I don't disagree with you at all. I think more it's just people are sleeping on Fairfield.
Yeah, it could be.
All right, let's go to District 10, and what do you have?
District 10, I got East Chambers winning the district, actually.
This is an odd district.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like a lot of teams that used to be really good who've struggled lately, and they're all trying to figure themselves out again.
East Chambers has been so close for the last 5 to 8 years that I think maybe they start to break out now. They got a good returning balance or core on both sides of the ball. Kobe Jones coming back and running back. I think this defense should be pretty good. So I like East Chambers to win it, and then Orangefield second, Hardin third, and then Anahuac fourth. And man, Anahuac has just not been quite what I thought they were going to be the last few years. And I've been praying for Anahuac to get back to being a region just darling, but they just haven't gotten there.
Crazy stat about East Chambers is they've only missed the playoffs once in the last 30 years.
Wow.
They are the model of consistency. And you're right, though. It still feels like, I know in 2018, they went to the semifinals. That's when they lost to Grandview by 1 point. I think it was 28-27 or something like that.
And they early rounds of playoffs 2 years ago, they gave Franklin everything they wanted, right? Played keep away. I don't think that's the Anahuac team we're going to see this year, though.
All right, let's move on now to District 11. It's not quite as power-packed as it once was, but damn, it's still really good. And Franklin, Little River Academy, McGregor, Rockdale, and Troy. Franklin's still Franklin. I know people aren't talking about Franklin to the point you could almost put them as a dark horse, but Franklin is still Franklin.
Dark horse. Look, what Franklin was able to do when Johnson went out at running back to an injury against Columbus last year down in Cedar Park. Again, I think Jimmy and I went to that game. And R.J. Fulton took the reins. And I'll tell you, look, after Johnson went out of the game, I don't know that, at least in the second half, Franklin was really in it. But Fulton was still making hay on the ground, and that offense was still moving. It was just defensively they didn't have enough to stop Franklin or Columbus. But I think R.J. Fulton and A.J. Phillips at tight end are enough to propel this Franklin team back to a district championship and even put their name in the hat for a region and even maybe a state title, a chance at the state finals and a title. Because Franklin's not going away.
Oh, no, I totally agree. The only thing the last couple of years, and Coach Fannin said it when we were doing the playoff shows is, and that's even going back to the when they lost the state to Malakoff 2 years ago, is Franklin the last couple of years have played non-Franklin football at the worst times with some turnovers that just like in that Malakoff game, in that Lorena loss earlier that year. They've turned the ball over at times when Franklin doesn't normally do that.
Right.
If they fix that, they're going to be perfectly fine again. I know they're ranked in the top 5, but still people aren't talking about them, possibly because you just get tired of always talking about, it's Franklin and Franklin. But yeah, they're not going anywhere. I had somebody email us asking y'all think Franklin takes a step back this year? And I'm like, hell, I think they take a step forward this year.
Yeah, they might.
All right, who else you have in the rest of this?
I got Academy.
I think that's
coming in second. I think Carter Kuhn at running back. He came over from Lampasas. He's going to be a big time playmaker here. Tyler Hoffman at quarterback. I think Academy's the second place team, and then Troy, and then Cameron fourth.
Yep, I agree with that totally. All right, let's move over to the last district in Region 3, but it's not last in the depth and the talent. That's, of course, District 12 with Columbus, Hallettsville, Hempstead, Hitchcock, and Yoakum. Dear Hempstead, We apologize for this realignment. We'll make it up to you next time.
Oh man, Columbus. I know, they graduated Schobel and a generational running back, right? But let me tell you, Jack Schobel coming back, plugging him in at quarterback, and then moving him around at linebacker and defensive back, right? Some safety, whatever. Columbus is going to have a hellacious defense. Even DJ, I went blank. DJ, that went to A&M.
Oh, for Belleville, DJ Sanders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. Back up. I'm thinking Belleville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just take that part.
Yeah, I will.
Where are you cutting that?
Just finish off with Schobel.
Yeah,
Schobel.
I mean, Schobel being able to just make plays on both sides of the ball. He's a D1 talent or a P5 talent.
Yeah.
I guess you have to say. They're going to be tough to beat. I think maybe they're not as dominant as they were last year, but they're at least as good and as dominant as they were 2 years ago, and they will have a chance to defend their title in the state final game. So I think they get the number one nod. Hitchcock number two. This Hitchcock defense ought to be really good. It's just
Now they did have one of their big guys transfer out that was on the defensive line, so they're gonna have to figure that out. But other than that,
yes,
for Hitchcock, it's finding a way to be consistent in the playoffs when you're playing the Franklins of the world.
Right.
You can beat Columbus in the regular season 37-36. That's awesome. But can you beat Franklin when it matters in the playoffs?
Exactly.
And they've blinked a couple times. I'm going to go back to the Columbus though. You bring up the good point about, everybody talks about who they lost. And look, they lost 5 D1 players from last year's team. But they also returned 15 returning starters.
Right.
Columbus has reached the point in their program, they reload. They don't rebuild.
Like Franklin.
When you look at exactly. When you look at over the past 5 years, 11-3, 11-3, 10-3, 12-2, 12-1, 15-1 in the state championship. And you and I said this last year in the state championship preview show. It felt like Columbus winning state isn't a culmination and an ending. It is the beginning, in my opinion, of one of the next 3A Division I power teams that's just not going to go away.
Yeah.
But they're in a district that can keep them honest, because I said it during the Dark Horse show. You agreed. We've always, I think people need to realize Bo Robinson and Yoakum, they have got a ton coming back from a team.
You know what? You say that. I'm going to do Columbus 1, Yoakum 2.
That was mine.
And
Hitchcock 3 and Howitzer 4. That's out.
I never occurred to me. Look, Yoakum's as good as anybody out in this district with their, offensive line, all of their Ortiz, an all-state lineman. They're going to be good up front on both sides of the ball, and then they're going to have speed to get it out on the edges. Heck yeah, man. Give me Yoakum second, and then Hitchcock third, and then Howittsville fourth.
And people need to remember the name Xavier Barnett. This kid is big and he's fast. He plays wide receiver, but I think they're going to use him in other spots. I think
Yoakum.
Yeah, I think Yoakum has the ability to be the dark horse of this region if people don't watch out. All right, Let's flip over to Region 4 to finish out our district picks. Let's start at District 13. And this is an interesting district. We all know about the whole Llano and them, and I think you and I talked about this. We've talked about it a couple times. I think Llano is going to be back to where they were a couple years ago. Last year they were great, 12-2. That's what actually meant. I'm going to say last year. And I didn't even realize until we started the research, they return almost everybody.
Hey, and none more important than Luke Duke.
Hey, Waterman, here's a stud.
Yeah, he threw for 2,100 yards last year, ran for almost 700 yards. Look, Llano's just a big fish in a small pond.
They got to get past the Edna. That's for them is their thing.
Right. But within this district, though.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think they can get past Edna this year. I do.
Oh, I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible. But, last year they were 12-2. They got knocked out by Edna. 2 years ago, they were 12-1. We were at that game. They got knocked out by Edna. But in this district, they won't even be challenged.
Yeah, I think Ingram Moore with Logan Spalding at quarterback can push them a little bit maybe on the offensive side of the ball. So I like Ingram Moore 2, Marion 3, and then UC Randolph 4.
That's perfect. All right, let's go to District 14. I talked about him as a dark horse.
You love Crystal City, don't you?
For the that's my ex. For this district,
or is it Crystal? No, that's Crystal Palace. You're an EPL fan there.
I like Crystal Palace. All right, but
did you like Crystal's Pizza?
No, I never. So studio wife always talks about that. I've never had Crystal's Pizza. She said it was awesome.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I was too drunk on Kool-Aid when I was little. Sugared up back when you could have found the sugar. I didn't have the refined palate then.
That you do now?
Yeah.
You're going to go home and drink a pound of Kool-Aid again today. I like Crystal City to win the district. I do think Crystal City can be have a nice run in the playoffs, partly because of who they play in the first round of the playoffs. Again, as long as they avoid Llano, they're going to win their first round playoff game. But yeah, I do like Crystal City in this district. But there's no true what I call powerhouses coming out of the district.
No, I like it. Crystal City 1, Jordanton 2,
yep.
Hondo 3, and maybe Cole 4th.
Yep, that works for me.
Okay.
All right, District 15, we got Aransas Pass, we got London, we've got West Oso, Edna, Goliad, Mathis, Orange Grove, and Palacios, or in my opinion, we call this district Edna and Goliad and everybody else.
Yeah,
and I don't even know if Goliad's,
I got Goliad winning the district, man. I do. Lamont, Franklin.
You leaned on that last week we were talking about it.
Yeah, I like Lamont, Franklin, and Donovan Terry, the tandem running back group that had over 3,000 yards, a total, maybe 2,000.
They were a machine last year.
They're very tough on in the defensive front. I think Goliad is going to be a very, very physical team, and I think they'll beat Edna for the district championship. I think it's Goliad 1, Edna 2, Orange Grove 3, and then Corpus Christi and London 4th.
I'm going to still go Edna, but I think Edna and Goliad are 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
And I agree with the rest. But I don't know, man. Jamie Dixon coming in to Edna after being at Blanco. It would be kind of ironic if they did only not even win district, and this is nothing against Dixon, but they fire a guy because he can't get past the region and then they lose a district, which is not a knock because, again, even if they lose to Goliad,
Goliad's going to be a lot better than what people think.
Well, a little bit of spoil in the thing. I got a funny feeling we're going to see that possibly as a rematch in the playoffs. Yeah. All right, District 16.
16, I like San Diego. I think the Vaqueros run away with this district.
Yeah.
And then Bishop, Real Hondo, and Lyford.
Yeah, that works for me. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to give you our region, our semifinals, and our state championship picks in Class 3A Division 1. And we'll do all that when we come back on Sideline to Sideline.
Coach Surratt came in 2007, and really what's remarkable about him is how quickly he turned the program around.
The biggest challenge here was just to change the mindset. Obviously, we want a winning culture, but the first thing you got to instill is, toughness. It don't matter if it's volleyball, football, baseball.
He's put Carthage on the map to a great extent.
All right, Terry Bennett, Grant Goodwin back here, Sideline to Sideline, the Class 3A Division 1 Big Arse Preview Show, again brought to you by Big Country Blitz and Neuro Guard Mouth Guard. All right, we've done the districts. Let's do the regions. I have a feeling that I legitimately feel like this year we are going to have some epic state semifinal matchups.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some epic region championships. All right, so let's start in Region 1. So we're going to pick what we consider the two best teams of the region. We don't know if they'll actually ever see each other in the playoffs. They might see each other in the second round. One of them might get beat first, but we're just kind of giving you in theory, this team beats this team in this region.
Right.
For me, I'll start in Region 1. I have Paradise surviving the region, beating Shallow Water in an epic game, but I just think Paradise has come into its own as a program. They're not a one-hit, 2-year wonder. They are a Region 1 threat from now on.
I, too, have Paradise over Shallow Water to win Region 1.
I like the way you said that. All right, let's go to Region 2. And this one, man, This can go 6 ways to Sunday. I mean, this is one of those regions where it's the same like 4 teams, but there's so many different. If Grandview gets good and consistent and figures out a couple things, I think they could make a run. If Whitney stays healthy, man, Whitney's offense.
To me, the X factor here is Malakoff, right? I think.
You know what I was going to say?
What?
Whitesboro.
Yeah, I think they're a year off.
I do. I was about to say, if they can figure it out a year early, they can make a run. But I like that. Everybody's sleeping on Malakoff because
you don't know what Malakoff's going to be, right? I mean, they lose to Jones.
Well, and they lose everybody else too.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's a good point.
You know, Malakoff.
But they're not going away.
I know. That's why I'm saying Malakoff could throw a whole wrench into what I'm about to pick.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of teams in the first 2 rounds, even the 3rd round. They're going to look across that field and see that big old M.
Yeah.
Big old M right here. That's why they're in the middle and go, oh, crap, we're playing Malakoff.
Yeah.
I still think they're a couple years off. I'm going to go, for me in this region, I'm going Grandview versus Jefferson. Jefferson wins the region.
I'm going Jefferson over Winsboro. Jefferson wins.
I like that, dude. Winsboro, man.
Winsboro.
I wanted
Winsboro's got something special this year.
I do too, and I think again, Winsboro's a lot like Paradise. It's been a while, then they've been good the last few years, and everybody's ready to go. Okay, well that was a special class. Let's move on. No, I think Winsboro's here to stay.
Yeah.
All right, so both of us have Paradise
playing Jefferson in a semifinal.
You want to talk about the defensive physicality of Paradise?
Jefferson does have to return or replace a
Cameron Williams,
yeah.
But I mean, it's Jefferson.
A Williams kid,
dude. They're one of those teams that even when they're 2-8, they've got a running back that runs for 1,800 yards. That's just what Jefferson does. All right, let's go over to Region 3. I do not feel good about any pick I make in Region 3 this year, and I mean that as a positive. That's how good this region is.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're loaded for bear. I know they're defending state champ, but I just don't think Franklin's done yet. I think Franklin beats Columbus to win the region.
Okay, well, I've got Columbus over Franklin.
Okay, so either way, we're happy. We're going to see a great game. Jeremy, I love you. Please don't hate me. It just feels like Franklin's like, okay, that was cute. Now let's see let's run it back. But it's going to be a battle. And speaking of, again, we're going back to I don't want to, I felt like I was I was knocking Westwood, but we're in an era now where if Brian gets hot at quarterback, we joked about it.
He's going to get hot at quarterback.
I could easily see them doing a Canton versus Gilmer, when Canton had a quarterback and a lot of other solid, and Gilmer was stacked, but G.J. Kinney went off. I could easily see that, but man,
Bryant doing the same thing.
I could easily see that, but at the end of the day, I'm going for tradition. I think Franklin reestablishes himself, and I think as long as the alignments work out, and I don't know populations at all, I think I have a funny feeling though, as long as the coaching staff stay in place, and both of them are hometown guys, so I don't really see them moving. I have a feeling Franklin versus Columbus is going to become a thing.
Yeah, it could.
I mean, it already had become a thing, but I think it could really become a thing. All right, so I have Franklin, you have Columbus. Going against who in Region 4?
All right, so I think Edna is going to get their revenge over Goliad, right? Goliad's going to win the district, but Edna is going to end up in the region final against Llano. However, I have Llano beating Edna for the region 4 finals.
I would love that. I actually would love that. I have Goliad going through. I have Goliad winning the region finally. They're a team that's kind of always been at that the region's been the glass ceiling. But I have them winning. But yeah, I do think it's literally Edna, Goliad, and Llano as the 3. And I don't think they're going to win, but I will contend. I think Crystal City is playing in at least the region semifinals this year. I'm calling that now. All right, so you have
Paradise beating Jefferson in the semifinals
to play.
Columbus will beat Llano in the other semifinals. So I think the state championship is going to be Paradise versus Columbus.
We want to talk about those boys are going to need ice baths for the next month between those two because they are physical.
They're going to leave it all on the field.
I have Jefferson beating Paradise.
Okay.
I have Franklin beating Goliad.
Okay.
I have Jefferson versus Franklin in what might be the fastest high school football state championship in 20 years. And I have, in honor of Jerry Bennett, the Jefferson Bulldogs winning their first state championship since 1986.
Okay.
Because how many times, you and I talk about this all the time, how many times when the special team of that group loses and they don't make it, but they return a lot, that it's that next year that they're the ones that actually break through.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of feels like with Jefferson. Jefferson learned in that Malakoff. Jefferson should have beat Malakoff. This is nothing against Malakoff fans. And I'm not knocking that team, but you were there. Jefferson was the better team. Malakoff was the better playoff team in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jefferson learned from that.
Yeah.
And I think Jefferson finally breaks through.
All right, so I've got Columbus beating Paradise, and Columbus is your 4A or 3A Division I state champion.
This is the first state championship we disagreed on.
I know, right?
Our lawyers will talk tomorrow about how we're going to break the company up.
I got a good ambulance chaser.
Gummit.
Yeah, sorry.
Jesus. I've got no.
We're not hurt. I'm not hurt.
I've got no way. I'm screwed.
Yeah, I win then.
All right, that will break it through. That's perfect. I love that we finally disagree. Oh, hell yeah. Hey, Coach, are you ready to elevate your locker room experience? Well, at H&H Locker Solutions, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality lockers at the lowest cost in the Southeast. As a coach-owned business based in Alabama, we understand the needs of the coaches and the players alike. Our mission is to improve your locker room and streamline your process, and we're coming to Texas. Did you know we offer a free locker program? That's right. We ship all across the USA, ensuring you get the best solutions tailored just for you and your program. Want to learn more? Drop a comment or give Coach Harris, a.k.a. Ty, a call at 256-458-4427, and let's take your locker room to the next level. Terry Bennett back here on the Big Arse Preview Shows. I wanted to take this last segment to, first of all, thank everybody for allowing us to talk for 18 years of high school football. We've had a blast doing it, and we can't wait to hit year 20 here in a couple of years. We've got a couple things planned that we want to do. But also, I want to take the time to ask if you'd consider joining our Patreon. And what we're going to be doing on our Patreon for the high school side this year is going to be real fun. First, we're going to have our sideline to sideline state rankings. They will start in week 3 of the season this year. They'll only go up on Patreon at first. We're also going to do instant reactions. So when we get back to the hotel from a game on a Friday night, Saturday night, or Thursday night, depending on, which week it is, because like the first week we'll be at 2 games, one on Thursday and one on Friday. But we'll give us an instant recap about how we feel about the game we saw and maybe some of the other scores we've seen that surprise us. Those will go up on Patreon only. We'll also have a Patreon question of the week, and we have a Discord chat. That's a pretty fun chat in and out of the season, actually, as we like to talk a little football, a little sports, and whatever else comes across. So please think about joining our Patreon. It's for less than a cup of coffee. In fact, if you did the full high school season, August to December, it's going to cost less than it would to go get a fast food meal. So please consider helping us out, give you great extra content, and let's have a fun 2025 season. And until next week, which will be the regular season shows, I'm Terry Bennett. This has been Sideline to Sideline's Big Arse Preview Show right here on L4 Media.